Hello everyone, this is RandoGEEK. In today's video, we're talking about AT&T. So they're continuing on their mission to end landline service across the United States. Copper landline service has declined in popularity. Not as many people rely on it as previous generations. However, there still are quite a few customers that do rely on it, that need it, and feel like it's a great option for them still, even going into 2026. Nonetheless, AT&T does, they really want to get rid of it by, I think, late 2027, early 2028. So they want to seize all landline services and pretty much force customers to adapt, right? Get them on wireless service and or provide them alternatives. So the alternatives would be digital home landline service, which pretty much is like Magic Jack. It works by being connected to the internet. And also, I guess they're just going to try to build out more towers to give you better cell phone coverage, because that's one of the biggest issues here and concerns, at least for me, when I hear about AT&T cutting landline service, especially in very rural parts of America, is cell phone service is very spotty or not even existent pretty much for many residents that live on farms and in really small towns. There are instances where, groups of people don't like to let carriers come out and build coverage. They don't like the towers. We talked about this recently. This is an issue that Verizon is facing. Some of these customers, they're stuck in their ways. They want the old landline service, and that's just how it works. Nonetheless, AT&T is not buying it, right? It's too costly. Copper is very expensive. It's grown in its price over the years, and therefore, it's something that AT&T needs to get rid of in order to be able to continue to process and build on something that's more important, right? Wireless service is more important right now. Building home internet is more important right now. Copper is just pretty much a thing of the past. So the residents here of Illinois are going to be getting less access to landline service now. That's pretty much it. But what is interesting is, as of July 2024, the article says that over 3 million Illinois residents had landline service. That's nothing to laugh about. Like, that's a pretty large amount of people to still have landline service when you really think about it. Some of them have it as an alternative to Wi-Fi, to cell phone service. They just like having it. And then there's the generation of older folks that have been with AT&T since the get-go, that's the only way they'll use the phone, right? They want to pick up that phone and dial out through that phone. They don't want a cell phone. They don't need it. They don't care about going online to social media or doing anything like that. They're not even sure how to do it. They still get in their car and drive to the supermarket to do everything. They go down to the phone company to pay their phone bill. Like, there are still people that exist like that, and it's few and far, but there's many, enough for it to be concerning, I guess. Like, I mean, you got to adapt, right? Whether you like it or not. Now, as long as AT&T can go out there and build stronger service, for internet and 5G wireless service, so I don't think this will be too much of an issue. I can see the concern as to why AT&T really does want to eliminate it. It's just, on average, there's not enough people that want it. And to keep it running for a couple of towns, a couple of cities, a couple of states, it's just not feasible for them, right? Because it's all or nothing. They have to keep the towers running. They have to keep the service running. And they say it costs them, I think it's in the billions, like, per year to just keep it running. And not enough people want it, which means they're not making any money off of it. They're losing money by keeping this operating and running. And that is money, like I said, that can be used towards building new towers and making home internet stronger. So if residents now in Illinois, they're going to be faced with not having landline service, they're going to be forced to get on, if they choose to still have that similarity, to still have, cordless phones all over the house or whatever it is that they enjoy, they'll have to get with the modern way of it, which is the digital home version, which works through your internet. And the good thing about it is for the younger generation, the ones that are aware of this is, let's say it's small businesses that prefer to still use the landline service, which many do, right? Because let's face it, in an office, it's not really professional to whip out your cell phone, right? You have a desk phone, and sometimes it's VoIP technology, and that works where you can pick up the phone at the desk, and then you can also get the calls on your app. So if you're the owner of a company and you're not in that office and someone rings your desk, you're getting a call in the field. Let's say you stepped out for a business meeting or you went to go grab lunch for your employees. You can still get that call, right? And they don't even know where you are. They think you're in the office. So if you find a quiet spot, you can take your call and it's all good. That is the benefit of it. It's not as reliable as traditional copper landline service, but it's really just the way things are going, and there's not much we can do about it anymore. AT&T will have customers believe that it's just as safe, during outages. It'll use your broadband connection as a backup. And, it has all the same things that traditional landline service would have: caller ID, call blocking, etc. So it really, for the mind, works just like traditional landline service. It's just not as reliable. And for those that live alone on farms, etc., this can be a concern. So I do sympathize with that. That's why in these videos, I say it's very imperative, very important that AT&T does come out and make sure that their service is working spot on when it comes to the wireless connectivities, right? They got to make sure they have a responsibility to take care of those customers. If they're going to take away the landline service, I understand it. It's completely, it makes sense, right? It's completely valid for them to do this because, on average, it's just an expensive bill that many don't want to, they're not making any money on it. Many customers don't want to take advantage of it. So it's not something that's necessary, really, for the most part. But they got to go out there, they got to build, they got to make sure that things are strong. And that was the purpose of 5G anyway, right? To make sure that 5G is better than LTE, to repair the areas where LTE was weak and couldn't provide enough service. This is what 5G was supposed to do. I think for the most part, on average, people will say 5G is not where it needs to be. I think we can say for the most part, it is better than LTE, okay? But there are certain carriers like AT&T, for example, that haven't upgraded a lot of those areas where LTE is only working, right? So that's the problem, right? Because it's costly. It's very expensive. So there's these little loopholes that still have to be fixed, and that's my concern. That's where, if LTE service is not even that good in certain areas, that's where the landline service made sense. So what I'm saying is, back to what I originally said, is they need to make sure that they go out and have everything repaired properly. Make sure that these customers are taken care of. And then they got my approval to go ahead and end it because I can understand. It's just not necessary anymore. It's not something, and it's not cheap. Like, to be fair, landline service isn't as cheap as you think. You can go with some carriers, but for the most part, it's at least $45. I think AT&T wants like $45 a month for landline service. That's not that cheap. That's not cheap at all. Just for landline service, you can't do anything else but make calls. All right. That's because they're trying to make as much money back off of it as they can. That's why those prices are so expensive. You can get Metro by T-Mobile for $25 a month. You have internet, you have unlimited data, you have fast speeds, and landline service with one of these carriers is $45 a month plus taxes and fees. You know what I mean? It's not worth it. It's not worth it for many. Now, some of these customers that have been on landline service, they're probably getting a really good deal, right? So to be fair, there's another reason why AT&T wants it gone. They're probably paying like $20 a year at this point. They've had it since the 80s. You know what I mean? These are the customers that have been with them since the early stages. So yeah, I don't know. As always, thank you so much for stopping by and watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.